Hello and welcome to another video from me, Box of Demons and Dayz Livonia in Dayz. While out on my adventure, I bumped into another survivor who told me he had seen a large group of players in the northeast, in Tarnow, in the centre of town near the fire station. He said they were building a base, enforcements, and a few of the survivors were out cutting trees in the forest on the outskirts. I decided to head northeast and see if I could find any of these survivors and whether possibly I could take one or two out before I left. I found some binos on the way up, and luckily for me, I spotted them in the distance. You joined me as I tried to find some height. I wanted to be able to look down into the fire station now that they had boarded it up, to see if I could pick off any stragglers. What ensues is a game of cat and mouse as I finally find the enemy. The question is, will they find me? I heard random gunshots occasionally, and I also heard somebody running around and chopping trees down, so I knew I was in the right location. My clothing was extremely bright, so at some point, as I moved in and got eyes on the enemy, I would have to ditch my gear and go in without my backpack. Somebody had thrown a pink smoke grenade. Initially I thought this was a warning sign to anybody else in the area that I had been spotted. And at this stage I really wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I decided to take the bull by the horns and push even further in. My fear was getting spotted from one of the windows, which were extremely difficult to spot, including the fire station that they'd locked themselves in. But it didn't take long to see contact. Now the fear really started. Were they going to flank me? Was this a distraction tactic so that I would concentrate on this guy while I was flanked from the rear and the side? I had to retreat slowly and get myself into a better position with some cover. I had to ditch the clothing and the backpack if I was going to go any further. I was giving my position away, even merely being in prone position. Maybe, just maybe, he hadn't seen me laying in the grass like a snake. Or was he waiting for me to get closer and pop me from one of the windows? I knew there was an industrial warehouse over to my 2 o'clock. This was the area that I was going to push to, as it gave me some elevation and a little bit of protection if the enemy found out my location. I'd finally devised my plan. I would go back for my gear, which included more ammo and first aid equipment, and I would head to the warehouse to get overwatch over the site and pick off any stragglers that were out in the forest cutting the trees down. I realised that 1 versus 7, or even 8 possibly, the even odds were not in my favour. But if I could get 1 or 2 kills, the panic that would ensue for the enemy, maybe, just maybe, I could use to my advantage. Having seen the enemy, a wooky, a sniper. But then again, was I any better, hiding in the shadows with a sniper rifle? The amount of times I'd been killed or injured on the field, now was time for revenge. My heart was beating, could hardly hold the weapon straight. I knew they were cutting the trees down in order to make planks to reinforce the fire station, so now it was a matter of sitting and waiting. As I saw my first target through the branches and trees, a second ghillie sniper came into view. Now the risks had increased for me, and my position would be compromised after the first shot. If I missed, chances are I would be flanked by 2 combatants. The round had seemed to have no effect. This put me in an extremely dangerous position. It was quite clear that my area was compromised now, and as they started to head towards me, it was time to bug out. The chase was now on, and I knew I would have at least 2 people on my flank. There was no way I was bugging out completely. I was determined to get revenge and at least 2 notches in my rifle today. The question is, a game of cat and mouse. Who would be left standing? Me or 2 dead snipers? Now I was worried. I'd completely forgotten about the 5 or potentially 6 other players in the base who were building. If these guys were all communicating on one radio system, I could potentially have 7 people after me. I really shouldn't be stuck in this small building, because if I was surrounded, it would be like shooting fish in a barrel. I had to think, and think quick. I spotted a wookie laying prone down in the grass further up the road. My heart was pounding. Maybe this was my chance to lay in wait and wait for him to come to me.
Snipers. I'm gonna smash your fucking heads in next time I'm in town.